Hi, this is Frank Lawlor from Euroleague TV, coming to you from Madrid, Spain, getting ready for tonight's semifinals in the Turkish Airlines Euroleague Final Four. And of course, we have four great teams ready to go, trying to advance to Sunday's final to see which of them will become this year's Turkish Airlines Euroleague champion. First semifinal tonight is Olympiacos Piraeus versus CSKA Moscow. And I have with me our two color commentators on tonight's broadcast from Euroleague TV, George Zidek on my right, Johnny Rogers on my left. George, you'll be doing the Olympiacos CSKA game, and of course a lot of history between these two teams, a lot of players who have been in the 2012 final and the 2013 semifinal against each other. They're back at it again tonight. What are your thoughts going into this game?
Well, a lot of history, a lot of great memories from these two teams playing against each other. I think that if you speak about this game in basketball terms and strategy, I think that you have to speak about the guards. Vasilis Spanoulis was incredible in the series against Barcelona, and I think that he's going to be just the same here tonight in the semifinal. He's got a lot to help with Oliver Lafayette, Vangelis Mansarius, Kostas Lukas. There's a lot of power, experience, and possibilities there at the guard there for Olympiacos. I think on the other side it is just as good because you have Nando De Colo, you have Milos Teodosic, and you have Aaron Jackson. I mean, that's unbelievable that you have three guards that can just pester you with offense and with Jackson, especially defensively. So I think a lot's going to be decided tonight at the guards. This is the area that I'm watching the most where the game could be decided.
Johnny Rogers, that leaves the front court to you, and you get some big names there too, starting with Andrei Kirilenko and Yorgos Printesis.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of length in the CSKA roster, up and down from the back court to the front court. You got a guy like Andrei Kirilenko that's all over the floor. He's so fun to watch on defense, and then he's just swarming in, crashing the boards. And you've got Printesis that's making big shot after big shot. I mean, what can you say about Yorgos? I mean, he's doing it from three-point range. He's doing it from around the basket. He's got his patented push shot. Just a guy that really rises to the occasion under pressure. Then you've got other players in this game. It's very interesting. You've got guys like Brian Dunstan that, you know, he won the Defensive Player of the Year award, but he doesn't. You don't really hear a whole lot about him. The same with Kyle Hines. Those are two key players that are on there. They do a lot of work. You've got a guy like Sasha Khan on CSKA that's, you know, steady. He's solid. You know, there's just so many good players up and down the roster. It's going to be fun. You're talking about big man, but the big man, the guards are so big, you know, in the CSKA. There's so much length. You know, it's you see them court level, it's where you can really appreciate the length.
And George, going back to the history, obviously there's five guys on Olympiacos who have won twice against CSKA on their way to titles in 2012 and 13, against about the same number of players on CSKA who lost in those games. They talk about history and maybe psychological advantage. Do you think that works in this game? We heard Dimitris Itoudis yesterday put it bluntly, history does not play the basketball game. What do you think?
I have to agree with what you just said and with what Coach Itoudis said. And we spoke about it with Johnny here before we did this interview. I think that this is a special occasion. This is about 40 minutes. This is 40 minutes if you make it or you are defeated and you go to the next round. I think that everybody's going to forget. We got a lot of experience. This is what we also spoke about. The players are so experienced that everybody wants to win, and they absolutely understand the meaning of playing at their best in these 40 minutes. So I think that history will not count. I have to agree with Coach Itoudis.
And John, you're going to be doing the Real Madrid, Fenerbahce, Ülker, Istanbul. Second game tonight, second game of our semifinals doubleheader. A lot of history between people on those two teams, but obviously the setup is that Madrid has lost in the last two finals, but they have all that experience where Fenerbahce is here at their first Final Four.
Yeah, Frank, that's true. The experience for me, it's so important. We see a lot of these teams come back here. This is the first time a Turkish team has been to the Final Four since 2001. Fenerbahce is here the first time in their history. Only two of their players, Jan Vesely and Nikos Zisis, have played in a Final Four. So I think that's something we shouldn't underestimate. Coming here is a special situation. It's very difficult for new teams to come in and do it. Only three teams have actually been able to come here for the first time. George knows very well, and Zalgiris, they were one of those three teams that were able to come for the first time and win a Final Four. So I think Fenerbahce is lucky because they have Zeljko Obradović that would balance that experience out. But you know what? They're up against a really tough team. Real Madrid is a very tough team with a lot of experience. They're playing here. They're going to be tough.
George, let's talk about the backcourts again in that second game. Of course, Fenerbahce had an injury late in the season to Ricky Hickman, who would have been a defending champion here. Fortunately, they had already signed Nico Zizis, who is a former EuroLeague champion and won with CSKA Moscow here in Madrid in 2008. Whereas on the Madrid side, you have Rudy Fernandez, Sergio Rodriguez, Sergio Yui, guys who have played together for a long time and done a lot together. Does the backcourt advantage go to Madrid?
Frank, I have to say that that's the case in my opinion. I think that Madrid has got one of the best perimeter players. They are here at the Final Four. They have so much experience. They've been to the Final Fours. They left with a disappointment. So I think that this also serves as a motivation. I read a lot of interviews with the players, and that's what they exactly said. We don't want to lose the game here in the semifinal. We want to go to the final and take care of business. So I think this has been a reminder for them the whole season to work extra hard and prepare for this weekend here in Madrid. But I got a question here on Johnny, actually. And the question is, what about the home court pressure? Real Madrid is playing in Madrid. Do you think that that could be a minus or it's a plus?
It's plus from the standpoint of they're familiar, they're in familiar surroundings. But if it comes down to the end of the game, pressure's definitely on Real Madrid, and they're going to feel that, especially with the last 2 years on their backs. So it could come around. It could be a double-edged sword. But in the beginning, I kind of agree with what I read from Kirilenko. Said they probably have a 1% advantage playing here in Madrid. They do have some advantages from the familiarity of the court and everything.
Let's go back to the backcourts because I forgot to mention two of the hottest shooters I've seen in a long time, Andrew Gudulak and Bogdan Bogdanovic, the Rising Star Trophy winner. If those guys get hot, even a great backcourt like Madrid's going to have trouble.
Oh yeah, that's you've got a lot of firepower there. You've got some great shooters with the Fenerbahce, but then we can't forget about J.C. Carroll. He heats up in a hurry also. So the perimeter players are going to be fun to watch in this game.
Let's go to the front courts in tonight's second semifinal, Fenerbahce and Real Madrid. And of course, we have the new MVP of the Turkish Airlines EuroLeague this season, Nemanja Bjelica, going against some veterans like Felipe Reyes, who's all EuroLeague first team, but also Andres Nocioni at his first Final Four, and new guys like Gustavo Ayón, tough characters in there for Madrid.
Frank, actually, I think that this is the biggest advantage that Fenerbahce got here at the Final Four. They got three guys, Nemanja Bjelica, Jan Vesely, and Luka Joric. They are extremely mobile big men. They got long arms, and they got so much mobility, I think, better than anybody here. And they can switch on defensively on anybody. That gives a lot of advantage there to Fenerbahce. They can play the high-tempo defense, and they can go out and sprint to the court and go to the fast break. This is so important to me. So if you speak about Fenerbahce, why I would call them the dark horse of the competition here, of the Final Four, why they are the underdog, they've got a good chance to win, exactly this is why. They're big men.
And of course, Fenerbahce, the only newcomer here. The other three teams are loaded with experience, as we were commenting a little earlier. But Fenerbahce has the experience of the guy, the person who's won more EuroLeague titles than anybody else, player or coach, and that's Željko Obradović. John, can that balance the lack of experience on the roster of Fenerbahce?
Yeah, you would hope so. It's actually 14, if I'm not mistaken, 14 Final Fours. This is his 14th, and he knows how to win these matches. He lives for this moment. It's going to help. They're going to have somebody to look to. The players believe in their coach, and it's a big factor.
And George, when you come down to the other three teams who have been there, won some, lost some, but in the case of Olympiacos, Vasilis Spanoulis is 6-0 in Final Fours and 3 MVP trophies. Does any of them have the edge from all the experience they have?
Well, as you said, these teams have been here so many times that I think they understand what it takes to win, and they also understand the bitter feeling of disappointment if you lose. So I think that's about even. That's my prediction. I don't think that anybody of those three remaining teams that you just mentioned got any edge in that department.
Okay, there you heard it. We have the Final Four starting tonight in Madrid, Spain, at Barclaycard Center. The first semifinal between CSKA Moscow and Olympiacos Piraeus, and the second one just a little later between Real Madrid and Fenerbahce. Ulker Istanbul Final Four weekend in Madrid, Spain, getting underway. Watch us on Euroleague TV tonight to see who wins.